Skylanders. God, dude. Skylanders? Holy shit, man. Sorry, it's just that was a big part of my gaming and childhood when I was a toddler. I don't know. It was a while ago. um dude, it's it's to me Skylanders was something more special in gaming experience because it's something that I didn't expect to see later on in the future. These are thoughts recently. See, I didn't think this way as a kid. But I knew that like it wouldn't be sustainable. At least to me, I didn't think it would. Um, because of having to buy all the figures and stuff. And yeah, amiibos were a thing, but that's also old and shit too. Oh my god, yeah, Disney Infinity. Holy shit, man. All that kind of stuff. If what is the kind of thing what do you call it? I don't know, gaming figures. If gaming figures has a comeback, I would I would kind of go insane. Only because I like the idea so much, but it just never seemed realistic for me to think that it would be sustainable. But if it's coming back and it, pops off, then who am I to complain? I hope that's the case. Anyway, here's a video about Skylanders coming back, and yeah.
Eek is back. I repeat, Eek is back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a
Dude, I haven't seen
Skylanders news
gameplay in
video.
so long.
Man, I don't get to say that often, so
This
you know
Dark
it's going to be
Spiral
rather
is
exciting.
sick.
All right, I know we're all excited.
Just to mention here, I'll give out a few of my thoughts because this is more of a reaction video, not a video itself. But the real video will be in the link in bio, along with other stuff. My favorite versions of Skylanders. One was probably the mix and match version. Two was the Giants, and then three was the regular. But for the regular versions, my favorite character was probably like the guy with the poisons and shit. The blue furball dude who like threw potions and stuff. He was definitely my favorite one. In terms of like the switcheroo Skylanders, I don't remember the names. I'm sorry, I'm like butchering everything. My favorite had to be the one with the kicking. The kicking. Yeah, the kicking. And then the fire dude on top. Or no, it wasn't the kicking, it was the punching ghost guy with the vampire guy who was also a ghost at the same time. And his legs weren't even there. It was like gas. It was like fog because he was a ghost. Ooh. But yeah, he was fucking cool. And then my favorite giant, the fucking the robot dude. Yeah, I fucking love the robot dude. It's the robot guy. He was with the one wheel. Oh my god, the memories, dude. I think when I was like super brain dead as a kid, like super young, like even younger when they first came out. I don't remember how old I was, but I was obviously a kid. I would like not pose, but I would place like the figures of some shit to like make it look like it was a battle or something. Just like dumb kid shit. But goddamn,
But
bro.
before we get into the new news, let's talk about the previous news. So for those that weren't in the know, about a year ago, we got leaks of a new
I did know about that.
Skylanders figure of some kind or whatever. These turned out to be Skylanders plushies, and the first thing that we had gotten in 7 years.
I figured.
In the last Skylanders material that we had gotten before that was Skylanders Academy, which is obviously a show on Netflix, and Skylanders Ring of Heroes, which is a mobile game.
What the fuck?
If you want to go back farther, the last real Skylander stuff,
Ring
if
of
you don't
Heroes.
count those, Skylanders Imagineers in 2016 with the figures
Okay,
release.
Yeah, I've never played Imaginators. I think once, like, right before Imaginators came out, I was kind of past the phase already. But now that I'm older, it's like, dude, I would definitely play it again if I could. Like, I feel like if you could buy it again, the figures are probably, like, more expensive now. Especially the more rare ones that are out now. Not out, but, like, sold on, like, eBay or some shit. They're definitely, like, way more expensive. And it's just, you can't. I couldn't afford it right now. Now, what is... Hold on. Oh, I'll look at it later.
2017. So these Skylanders U2s came and went. They released sometime in June. and they were plushies of Spyro, Gilgrunt, and Stealth Elf. Rightfully so, people were excited about these, with it being, the first content that we had gotten in literal 7 years. Reportedly, people are actually already getting their Stealth Elf plushies, and she is massive. Like, just look at her in comparison to the actual normal-sized figure.
I fear for her. Terrible things will happen. That's all I'm going to say.
And people have been attaching NFC tags to actually make them work in game, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wait, that is pretty sick, actually. What?
Apparently, they sold pretty well, because here I am standing today to tell you that Wave 2, let's see, when does this release? Oh, it came out 4 days ago.
Oh.
Oops. My bad. But let's get into Wave 2 and discuss who is in it and if it's, well, worth your money. Wave 2 had been teased to us for quite some time, but now that they're officially out, I can tell you that Wave 2 consists of Trigger Happy, Pop Fizz, and Tree Rex.
Pop Fizz, that was the name. Oh my god, Pop Fizz was so cool. Trigger Happy was also pretty iconic, I feel like, in the Skylanders place.
The thing about these Skylander U2s is instead of plushies, this time around they are instead figures. U2s will often, with their figures, give them little slit eyes. It's kind of the U2 signature. You can see this as an example with other Activision properties such as Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. Fortunately, they decided not to go that route with the Skylanders, actually giving them their original cartoony and bulbous eyes, which I'm very thankful for. You can see the slit is kind of still on the U2's figure in the kind of reflection.
Because, I mean, I feel like for Pop Fizz and Trigger Happy, it just wouldn't look good for their characters. It really wouldn't.
The eye, but overall, it's so small that it's not really that big of a deal. I'm happy how they did the eyes. Now, actually talking about the quality of the characters, I'm going to be honest with you. Because, we don't get much, and just because we don't get a lot doesn't mean we deserve subpar things. Starting with Trigger Happy, I think Trigger Happy is phenomenal. Looking at him from all angles, I think he's perfect. I don't think there's a thing that needs to be changed about him. I love him to death. He's perfect. Now, the other two, that's a different story. For example, Tree Rex, I think is fine for the most part. My only complaint with him is he's a little bit smooth. He kind of looks like Swap Force Tree Rex rather than the gruff Tree Rex.
There you go. Yeah, the appeal was that he was like a tree. So it had that same, not same, but like similar texture where he was rough, but the design was good. I loved it a lot. It was so weird because I feel like when it comes to games like Skylanders, you think like, or no, when it comes to games from way back when that you played as a kid or anything you did as a kid, you think back to like how it was so good. But then you try that thing as a kid now and it's like, this shit low-key buns, like Flash games. There's a Kid Ben 10 Flash game I played, and I was like, man, I wonder how it is now. I tried it, and God, it was so buggy, and it was goddamn. I think the better Benson games are definitely the ones on like the Xbox 360 or the PS3 or whatever. I don't know. I played a few of those for sure. But I think Skylanders is different though, because when it comes to the figures, I was always a fan of the art of like how they made the figures, how it looked, and honestly, the gameplay was really good too. I think it fell off more and more. I'm assuming at Imaginators, because with Imaginators just, I heard it didn't perform well. I heard it was like really bad, especially when it comes to like just inflation and money. Shit gets really fucking expensive. So I couldn't imagine myself like still paying for this shit to now. But if a new game does come out that's like good and not just some cash grab, I would probably get it though. I probably would. Just to see what the game looks like in better graphics and stuff and more polished, and seeing just new figures in general would be so sick. Graphics aren't everything, but seeing the stuff you had as a kid in a better, like more polished look, it's just cool, man. Feels better. Feels good.
That you're used to, that's the actual normal regular Skylander Giants figure, and the in-game model for him in Giants. And this is the thing that most
whoa, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the
and
shit?
the in-game model for him in Giants. And
wow, I was a kid. Oh my god, I was young. I do not imagine it being that blocky. I do not remember it being that blocky. Holy moly. Oh my god.
This is the thing that most people have been complaining about on T-Rex. The spikes on his arm are the wrong color. They're this weird puke green rather than the red and yellow spikes he should have. A lot of people have been commenting this to YouTubes, although I don't think they're going to fix it. But other than that, T-Rex is pretty fine, and then there's Pop Fizz, which I think is the worst offender in my opinion.
Really?
They teased us well with Pop Fizz backshots.
I
And
didn't see the
I was like,
official
oh,
Pop Fizz card
hey, they're
character.
missing the magic logo on his back. Hopefully they'll.
What? What? It's so blocky. I mean, it's peak. Peak is still peak, but holy shit. See, my mind, like the game in my mind before I saw this, was that the game looked this smooth. To me, the game looked this smooth in my mind. But now that I'm like looking at this, whoa, whoa. I forget how Skylanders came out way before Disney Infinity, actually. It really did. In my mind, it had the same smooth textures that Disney Infinity had, but this one, it did not. I think as the games went on, though, they became better. This might be an older game, probably. Holy shit. And yeah, you are missing the star. What the fuck? It's crazy, dude.
They'll actually fix that when they reveal the final figure. Archean of Shadows
okay, cool.
even made a little mock-up of how it should look, showing that he actually even has some incorrect colors for his potions and his overall just color scheme. Well, with the figures up to buy now, you can actually spin the Pop Fizz around officially on their website now. Well, if you turn around the figure on the website, it's still not there.
Damn.
These are still, early renders, so maybe it will be there, and maybe the T-Rex thing will be fixed when they ship out. But I have a sneaking suspicion that they're not going to be, and that's because U2's quality control on Skylanders so far, well, at least for this wave, hasn't been very stellar. Looking at the actual official release for U2's, they incorrectly actually labeled Trigger Happy as a fire element. I don't know how that happened. But
I
again,
remember.
it's not that big of a deal. And in the newsletter, when they also officially sent out, they sent Trigger Happy with No Gold, No Glory, Pop Fizz with Motion of the Potion, and with T-Rex with Now That's a Treetop, which is a random throwaway line that T-Rex says when he puts on a hat, which we obviously know T-Rex's actual catchphrase is "Be afraid of the bark."
Be afraid of the bark.
Oh my god, that was so big, dude. Holy shit. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. Oh my god. My favorite character, who's also one of my favorite voice actors, was the bald villain. I think he's like in Hell of a Boss now as like Moxie or something. No, yeah, he is. But he was definitely like he became my favorite voice actor because you knew it was him. He had that iconic, funny ass voice, dude. It was so good. Um, and I think I love seeing the commercials too. The commercials were actually so good. Um, yeah, the advertising had me by the fucking balls, dude. As a kid, they groomed me. No. It was just really good. Okay, hold on. Later, I will look up like the other games and see how they actually looked compared to my mind. Because in my mind, it's more smoother than this. It's like way more smoother. But we'll see. We'll see.
These issues with the marketing really aren't that big of a deal. Mistakes happen. I get it.
Yeah.
But these screw-ups mean that they have a lack of quality control sometimes. And if they have a lack of quality control on this marketing, who says that they won't have a lack of quality when it comes to the actual figures? Those mistakes that I talked about earlier, whether it be T-Rex's incorrect arm color or Pop Fizz's bag situation, those just might not be fixed. These figures, just like the plushies, are $30 each. And personally, if you're having to pay $30 for a Skylander figure, I personally think the figure should be in good quality and it should look as authentic as it can.
I mean, it's just another nostalgic cash grab, I think. They also didn't. I bet they didn't really know how many sales they would get depending on this old game, because the advertising obviously isn't going to be for kids because these kids now haven't played Skylanders. There hasn't been a new Skylanders game out at all. More into that later. But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't assume you'd make much money if you're just advertising towards, adults who played the game way back when. Um, but there's also a good chance that they could, and I think they will if they also up the quality a lot more. Maybe the people can like switch around the figures and use the YouTube's ones instead to like implement them into the game, like what they do with the plushies. But I don't know, man. My big question, the elephant in the room, is like, would a new Skylanders game work? But I'll have to think more about that later, or like as the video goes on.
And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed, especially with Treerex and Pop Fizz. I think Trigger Happy looks great. I have no complaints with him. But again, these are $30 things. A big part of the conversation that has brought up is, well, the plushies were kind of cool because there's not a lot of existing Skylander plushies. And these are kind of cool because they're new Skylander figures, but the problem is they're Trigger Happy, Pop Fizz, and Treerex. They're all 99-cent figures.
Dude, I love Pop Fizz's design so much, man. They went crazy on this shit, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, and I really loved characters that had punching as their main like weapon. So that ghost punching dude was definitely one of my all-time favorites in terms of design and just gameplay.
The actual regular Skylander figures.
It's actually a big reason as to why I main Iron Fist a lot. In Rivals, well, used to. He's trash now. But I fucking love the whole punching aspect. And I'm saying that because I think that's where my punching love came from for games was 1, JoJo, 2, that Skylanders character, and 3, probably just those two.
Work with the game and have better detailing and better quality are 99 cents. So when I pay $30 for these new merch of Skylanders, I expect them to be better, I expect them to be high quality, and I expect them to reflect what the character actually looks like on.
Just to clarify, these are completely shit compared to like the actual figures. No, they're really bad. They look like weird. Oh my god, can we please talk about modernized art or aesthetics compared to like the early 2000s? This is a prime example of what modernized art does to a nostalgic, more fleshed out piece of art, okay? Everything, soda logos are horrible now. The older logos for soda cans were way better. Yeah, it's just goddamn, bro.
The older figures
Butchering
and what they
that
look
shit.
like in game. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed with these. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't get them, but I just want you guys to know that you might be a little bit disappointed. Of course, I know us Skylander fans are starving and will basically eat anything we can get, so I know a lot of people are getting these.
Yeah,
I also wanted to talk about the fact that there is a new actual thing that you can get with these figures, being collectible pins. If you pay $10 extra, you can get a little cute pin.
I'm sorry, $10 for a pin? Well, Skylanders, that's no. Fuck, I'd probably get that Pop Fizz pin and put it right on this hat, man. Oh god, I'm a slave to the system, dude. Holy shit.
Now that brings it up to $40,
that's still horrible.
And that's not counting shipping or tax. If you're getting the most expensive version of these figures with the pins, getting all 3 is going to cost you around $150 when tax and shipping is done. And I'm just going to be real with you, that's ridiculous. I want to promote.
That's not even a real take. That's like surface level
knowledge. But I also want to be able to tell you guys realistically that is very expensive.
Yeah.
And it might sound like I'm negative, but
no.
Truthfully, I again do want these to sell well because I think about it this way: this is our only Skylanders merch in so long, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, YouTube has told us that these are selling well. And it looks like the demand and nostalgia for Skylanders is there. Even though we are a small community, people want Skylanders, and they're willing to pay the money to get that.
This is a common thing of like companies selling something because they'll know it does well. I know earlier I said they probably didn't know, but I guess they did now. It's an example, a common example of companies selling something for a nostalgic cash grab, but not really putting in the effort or love that the same people who are buying the products have for the product. Um, I always saw YouTubes as like this company that like, knew their audience, right? So them doing this, if they don't like increase the quality of these figures or lower the prices or anything that like, really accommodates towards what the people who are buying this want, if they don't act on these things, I mean, yeah, they're just another shit company, in my opinion.
So the thing is, the more money Skylanders merch makes, the more merch they're going to keep making. And of course, YouTube's making money means other corporations are going to look at the Skylanders brand and go, hey, they're making a ton of money off of that. Maybe we should throw our hat into the ring. Of course, the biggest company that you need to appease is Activision because, well, they own the Skylanders property. And no, that doesn't inherently mean Skylanders 7. I've seen a lot of people, every single time the U2s come out, people have been trying to connect non existent dots, thinking these
Yeah.
U2s need to mean
Copium.
something deeper. And I don't think, well, I don't even need to think. I know Skylanders 7 is out of the question. Realistically, and I know I say these in the news videos over and over, but I'm going to say it again. It just doesn't make sense for them to make Skylanders 7 before they make a Skylanders port or remaster. Every single time Activision brings back one of their kid properties, they test the waters with a remaster of some
Yeah.
kind. And I know I say that almost every single news video, but I feel like I have to so people won't get their hopes up entirely. Sure, maybe these U2s can lead to an influx of Skylanders merch, and maybe one day.
If they make a remaster of like the first Skylanders game with the figures, my question is how would they handle the whole figures part? Because I feel like now the only people interested in buying these figures or like anything game related to Skylanders, excuse me, it would be, people my age, maybe a little bit younger, but like in their 20s or more, and they it's just mainly that kind of audience that'd be interested in buying a remaster. Um and I mean, what at your age, what the things you have to pay for now in terms of responsibilities, would you pay? Because I know damn well it's going to be pretty expensive to even buy one figure. I bet it will. One figure will be like just a lot of money, enough to make you go like, nah, I wouldn't do it. So would the remaster not have figures, but instead just being the video game that you can unlock over time? Now that does kill the magic of the game a lot. It's what Skylanders was known for. So if we ever do a remaster, it would have to be something would have to be sacrificed. Um, Either what I said or like the quality of the figures would end up looking like U2s for us to even afford these things, right? Um, so I just don't know. Well, what I know for sure is that if they do a remaster of the old Skylander series, something would be butchered. Something would for sure be butchered in order to accommodate for cost. That would have to be. I mean, come on, that's not really an unrealistic thing to say. I feel like that's pretty normal and unfortunate, like based off all the things we've seen so far in the gaming industry when it comes to nostalgia or remasters. Something is different. Something will be changed. But in a perfect world, we'd have affordable figures and a game with good gameplay. You know, I don't know. I've also never played Imaginators, so is that good? Was it a good game, or was it just like a big flop and just another attempt at trying to, please the kid audience and make a quick buck? I feel like it was the second one of what I'm saying.
Even a remaster port. That's really wishful thinking. That is the definition of cope. I think a realistic expectation is more merch. And really, my
Yeah.
goal and dream is for me to be able to walk into something like a GameStop and see Skylanders something there. I don't care what it is. Just seeing Skylanders on a store shelf that isn't just an online website would warm my heart to death.
Well, yeah, but I don't want the main thing for Skylanders to do is walk into a GameStop and see U2s on the shelves. And I'd be like, oh, cool Skylanders. But I wouldn't be like, I've been waiting for this. If it's U2s we're talking about here, I would definitely not want to see U2s be the main, thing for Skylanders merch.
And, you know, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro have that. I can walk into a GameStop and there's going to be Crash Bandicoot and Spyro plushies.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
want to buy one of these Skylander figures or even all three, go ahead. You are helping bring back Skylanders in some way, for sure. And you are telling Activision directly when you spend money on these, although you might not be speaking to their heart and you might be speaking to their wallet, you are telling them that the Skylanders brand will make them money and they listen to money. It might be a while till we get more than merch, but that's the best way to do it. And that
If that really is the best way to do it, fuck, man. Do I love Skylanders that much to where I would pay for these things to tell a company, hey, take my money, make a new game? If the end game goal is for them to make a new game, I I do it, man. I do it. I really would. But that should not. I already know that's not the common reaction to this. I feel like the common reaction is, yeah, that's a good idea, but then they don't do it because it's like over $100 to collect the entire set of one U2s, like the pin and the U2s and shipping. I wouldn't do it. But if I didn't have to pay for shipping, I'd probably be more convinced to buy these things. But yeah, I don't know, man. If the end game goal, if this means we get a new game, if more people like bought these things, then I would do it. But this is U2's. This is not the same company. Well, I mean, it's still connected because it's Skylanders, so I don't know. But yeah.
that makes it sound like I'm just saying throw money at them, but realistically, that's really all you can do. There's not
Yeah.
much more you can hope for. Although I do want us to probably be more vocal about U2s, about the quality control and the accuracies of the characters and the figures, because I care a lot about this franchise and I don't want to see us get subpar stuff. And speaking of future merch, let's talk about U2's Wave 3, because it's already confirmed that that's happening. So
Oh, okay.
if you were worried that this potentially could be the last wave, don't worry. Wave 3 is already, well, over half confirmed. They've already shown off a Chop Chop plushie, so I assume
Oh
that
my
they are just
god, Chop Chop. Holy shit, dude. Oh, Chop Chop was so based. Oh my god, he was so cool, dude. Shit. Oh my god.
going
Oh
to
my god.
flip-flop back and forth between figures and plushie every wave. The other confirmed character, although we don't have a picture of it, we know Eruptor is coming. It makes sense. Eruptor kind of fits the plushie style very
He was
well.
more of the iconic
But that leaves
kind
who is the last
of
one.
characters. But I
Well,
wasn't really
although
that
we
all
don't have
crazy
concrete
about him.
answers, I kind of made a couple.
Wait, I think you could use a villain as a main figure, couldn't you? I never got that one because I wasn't sure. I can't remember. It's all fuzzy to me. But if you could, that'd be crazy. Who here else was I into using? No, I think just the ones I've already mentioned so far, were the main ones. I did like shooting the hand laser with the giant tree dude. That was cool.
Of predictions in my very first news video, and so far all of them have come true. They're pretty basic picks, but I think our next basic pick out of my list for sure is probably going to be Jetvac. Of course, I would love for my expectations to be shattered and we get an oddball like, appease the Treadhead.
Let me tell y'all a story real quick. Let me tell y'all a story about Jetvac and how I was the stupidest kid ever. So at school, elementary school or whatever, or I don't know, it was like something like that. You could trade. A lot of times, people would trade things: Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Bakugans. Skylander figures were one of those things, and my dumb ass self gave a Skylander away in order to trade for this guy. And this kid was like somehow the greatest businessman alive. He's like, oh yeah, I'll give it in. And I was like, oh yeah, man, I'll fucking do it. Yeah. So I give him my Skylander. It wasn't one of my favorite ones. It was like, okay, but he liked it, so I was like, okay. And he gave me the card of the Skylander. It wasn't the actual figure. It was the goddamn card, bro. And I before I like was like, hey, this is not the figure. He was already gone, like a fucking Looney Tunes killer villain or something. Like fucking Bugs Bunny gone. The only thing he left behind was a goddamn, uh, I don't know, timber fucking bush thing or whatever you call it, leaves and the wind sound effect. Like that's all I could see and hear when I looked up. He was already fucking gone. Um, I don't remember which Skylander I gave away. It was a while ago, but it definitely was not my favorite ones. I would never give those away for the fucking world. Um, do I have the stuff with me now? I don't know. I don't think I do. I think it's in a storage place or whatever, but I don't know if it's there. I either gave it away after I moved somewhere else away from my mom's house. Um, I left all that stuff behind for her to give away probably, or it's in storage. I hope it's in storage, but I don't think it is. My mind has already been like all of my kid shit is gone. I don't think I have any of it left, which is such a shame, man. Because I feel like when it comes to like keeping these kinds of things, parents don't understand that like video game stuff was just as valuable as any other kid item, for a kid in my generation. Because it's like, stuff we played with as a kid. So it was like, I just deeply regret not keeping these things. I really wished I kept the Skylander stuff. And I feel so stupid for doing that. Because in yeah, when I was in high school, I was like, I don't really need these things anymore, man. I'm grown up. When will I ever want these things again? And I was like, now that I'm older in college, it's like, wow, I was so stupid. Because there is no such thing as like a real adult. Let's be real here. Adults are just people trying to live. They're like us. All adults are the same at the end. They're just trying to make a living and just trying to cope with whatever's going on. So if it meant having these things to help me get by as a person, just to feel like happier, yeah, I would hold on to these things forever. And if you have these things with you still, I'm so jealous of you, man. I really wish I would have had these things still in my room with me right now, but I don't. Unfortunately, I have my PS4. That's all I got. But I'm a PC guy now, so I don't really use consoles anymore. Um, but yeah, I just you know, it's just so stupid, man. I wish I had these things still. I didn't like. I wish I didn't underestimate the importance of these things in my life, but I did, and it's a shame.
I would love for my expectations to be shattered and we get an oddball, like, appease the Treadhead fans or whatever, but I think it's probably going to be Jetpack. Well, what about past Wave 3? If these continue to sell well and we get Wave 4, what are some other predictions we can think of? Of course, I've had my predictions of Chaos and Chill Bill, but I also think it would be very cool to get figures of characters that don't normally get figures. NPCs such as Flynn, I think, would sell very well. And my other idea is, so far, they have just stuck to pretty iconic characters for the Skylanders franchise. But what about more obscure characters? Characters that only really got one release or one figure. Characters like Sunburn obviously don't have anything, and getting another figure of Sunburn would be very cool. Or characters, of course, that are very late into Skylanders cycle. Skylanders like Blackout or Wildstorm or Robo would be a great pick. I know a lot of Skylander fans would eat that up. They would immediately buy them. It's a cheaper alternative than the actual regular figure. Just slap an NFC tag that you can make for real cheap on the bottom of it, and boom, bada bang, you have a functional Robo, and you don't have to pay $400 to get him. But that's about it,
Jesus.
and that's all I got for you guys today. I'm curious to see, do you guys think I was a little bit too negative on the U2s? Do you think my thoughts were justified? And of course, what do you guys think of the U2s? Do you think they could do better? Do you think they're perfect? Will you be getting them, or will you
So,
not be getting them? And
so I'll answer all these questions right now, ways or more.
if you are, why or why not?
So I already talked about why I would possibly get these. Um, do I think they could be better? Oh yeah, I'm sure that's like not even like a unique take. Everyone thinks they could be better. Look at them, you know. It looks like they're in Disney Infinity and not in the actual Skylanders series. Um, if they come out with more, My main thought is the bigger picture here. If all they're gonna do is just release U2s of all the figures and nothing more, I don't know, because I wouldn't really buy these then. I'd only buy these if it helped to fund something more, something like an actual game. But again, yeah, that is just copium. So unless I get any kind of sign that these are gonna help fund a game or anything, I do it. But that's just not really gonna happen. I don't think so, at least. If there is news, please let me know, because I want to know so bad. I think my next video, I'll honestly talk about the Skylanders that I had and the ones I didn't have, probably. And I'll look into the other games. It'll be a nostalgia video or something. Yeah, I think that's it.
What Skylander or NPC would you like to see turned into a U2s? And what do you think about Skylander's future overall? Do you think it's hopeful? Is it bleak? I'll let you guys decide.
It's just, I think it's bleak, but I do think there's a possibility something could change. That's my overall opinion on it.
I'll see you in the next one. Oh shit, Skylander Dad made a video. No, nobody's gonna watch mine. Shit.
Dude, I don't even like. Have I really? I don't think I watched Skylanders creators. I actually never did. This is like my first real Skylanders videos, actually. I don't think I'd ever watched one as a kid. I watched like other game shit, but not Skylanders. Because I was so sucked into the game itself, I didn't really care for like the opinions of other people or anything. I just like, man, oh, Superchargers. Never played that one. I will get into a video about the games I've played and haven't played, and the figures I had and did not have. If you want to see more of this guy, check him out. Link in bio. Yeah. Bye.